Greetings one and all, I'm DC Wood with episode 26 of my Arrowverse review series, and today we are finally covering Superman and Lois Season 1. As always, thank you all so very much for your support, for being so loyal, and thank you for subscribing. And I'm sorry I've been so late, because I think it was 3 months since I did my last Arrowverse review for this series. When I started this project 2 years ago, I had originally intended to do an episode at least once a week, whilst I was furloughed during lockdown and the COVID-19 pandemic, and of course, it was going according to plan. But before too long, I started going back to work, family time and family life took priority. I was doing a lot of other projects as well, like the Box of Stuff and writing for Smarkdown, updating my website, and of course, I've recently finished Blackadder 2, The Elizabethan Years at Daneside Theatre. That was so much fun. So much hard work, and now I'm going to try and crack on with my Arrowverse review series. And this is one I've been wanting to review for quite a while. After the success of Supergirl and the critical reception to the Arrowverse incarnations of Superman and Lois Lane, a pilot for this new spin-off show was announced in October 2009 and ordered to series for the CW back in January 2020. Superman and Lois Season 1 premiered 23rd of February 2021, lasting 15 episodes, with a finale airing on 17th of August 2021. The show was another great success for the CW, with the premiere garnering 1.75 million viewers, the highest numbers for a new CW show premiere since Batwoman in 2019. Superman and Lois averaged approximately 2 million viewers a week, and also debuted on BBC One here in the UK and on iPlayer to great acclaim here in Britain as well. So, where are we now for Clark Kent and Lois Lane in this particular setting? Well, it's a post-crisis world, and in it, Clark Kent and Lois Lane are they've been together and happily married for years, with 2 teenage sons, Jonathan and Jordan. Clark is still being Superman and ace reporter for the Daily Planet, as is Lois, but both of them are now struggling with the challenges and responsibilities of being parents to 2 teenagers, especially in Metropolis. Not an easy feat. But then things take a turn for the worse. The Daily Planet comes under new ownership and Clark loses his job. Then tragedy strikes in Smallville, which forces the Kent family to move back to Clark's childhood home and into the old family farm. With Clark's responsibilities as Superman ever increasing and Lois working harder than ever to try and support the family, both Clark and Lois are facing their greatest challenge yet: how to be the best parents for their children. And when a stranger arrives targeting Superman, and industrialist entrepreneur Morgan Edge has insidious plans for Smallville, can the Kent family endure and be stronger than ever? Ever since Supergirl Season 2, when Tyler Hoechlin first appeared as Superman in 2016, I've been patiently waiting for him to get his own Superman show. He immediately won me over as the Man of Steel and Clark Kent. It was perfect casting, and it was the same when Elizabeth Tulloch debuted in 2018's Elseworlds crossover as Lois Lane. Like Tyler did in his role, Elizabeth understood and embodied everything that makes her character so iconic. And when Superman and Lois was given the green light, I was over the moon. Having loved Arrow, The Flash, Constantine, Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow, I was hoping that Superman and Lois would be given the same love and attention, especially after those first promising trailers. So, after finally finishing the show on BBC iPlayer, is it any good? Well, Superman and Lois is quite simply the absolute best DC television show since Arrow and The Flash first premiered. I was blown away by the special effects, the cinematography, the direction, the presentation in all those Arrowverse shows when they first premiered several years ago. But Superman and Lois truly takes everything to the next level in terms of CGI, special effects, Dan Romer's amazing score, the cinematic widescreen presentation. Watching Superman and Lois is like you're going to the pictures. It's absolutely incredible. Now, all this was possible because the CW made a deal with HBO Max, allowing Superman and Lois Season 1 to stream on that platform, as well as the CW Seed and BBC iPlayer, etc. The result clearly shows as Superman and Lois Lane is just simply gorgeous to look at. The increased budget really enables the production team to go to town on visualizing Superman's powers and all the epic fight scenes beyond anything you ever saw on Supergirl and The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. You truly believe that a man can not just fly here, but also unleash heat vision and freeze breath, leap tall buildings in a single bound, run faster than a speeding bullet, and become more powerful than a locomotive. This is Superman. It truly, truly feels like Superman. It's amazing. But it's not just lots and lots of glitter. Superman and Lois is a show that has such depth and gravitas going for it. Obviously, everyone is familiar with the concept of Superman and what to expect, but in this show, it's about what not to expect. Superman can save the day around the world, but can he save the day at home? This Clark Kent is several years older now than when he first went up, and away, and he's really struggling to balance the needs of a world that needs Superman with the needs of the love of his life and two growing children that need their dad. Clark is trying his best, and we've never seen Superman struggle like this. Lois, of course, is just an integral part to this show's greatness as her husband. With Lois now being the sole reporter at the family, she's busy trying to make ends meet, as well as remaining the hard-edged, feisty ace reporter that breaks stories to the public and risk her neck to uncover evil conspiracies that threaten society. But for all her steely grit, determination, and sassiness, there's a real emotional vulnerability to Lois that is really explored in the show, from feeling neglected by Clark due to his duties as the Man of Steel, to trying to do her part, to being a good mother to her kids, to dealing with her own tragedies in the past. Lois is very much on equal footing with Clark here, and it's wonderful. Both Tyler and Elizabeth remain as perfect as ever as Superman and Lois, and as the leads, they prove that they can carry this show as well as the likes of Stephen Amell, Grant Gustin, Melissa Benoist, Matt Ryan, Katie Lotz, and Cress Williams. They embody everything that makes these characters so iconic and legendary, and they continue to have perfect chemistry with each other. They truly are the Superman and Lois of this generation, much more than Henry Cavill and Amy Adams. But not only do Tyler and Elizabeth capture the essence of these characters, they also excel in exploring the new depths to be found. After everything they've achieved as both individuals and together, the responsibilities of parenthood truly feels like their greatest challenge. And Lois and Clark's struggles again show what deep love they have for each other and their family, how their strength, bravery, resolve, and humanity truly make them who they are. And the kids themselves, Jordan Elsas is great as Jonathan Kent, a natural athlete at high school, modest, kind, and capable, who goes from being the most popular kid in Metropolis High School to being a complete outsider in Smallville High School. In contrast, Jordan Kent, played with equal greatness by Alex Garfin, starts out as an outcast with severe social anxiety who learns to come out of his shell from moving to Smallville. Both Jonathan and Jordan are polar opposites, and they bicker like brothers do, but like brothers, they're there for each other, and they have a ton of issues to deal with, especially when they find out that their dad is really Superman. Family is truly the heart of this show, and there are so many issues explored that parents, adolescents, and families as a whole can really relate to, in spite of the premise that this is a Superman show. To see the Kent family's struggles and issues, to ultimately seeing them happy and strong together, this has so much heart and soul to it. It's absolutely brilliant. But at the same time, there's also enough top-notch superhero action and excitement to make this all the more essential. There's such exemplary writing in this show that provides a strong story arc, interlinking fascinating, compelling threats like the Stranger and Morgan Edge together, utilizing the post-crisis reality, as well as pacing everything nicely towards an epic finale. Like the other Arrowverse shows, there's perfect casting from top to bottom in Superman and Lois. Rowley Parks provides a haunting presence as the Stranger. Adam Rayner is perfectly malevolent as Morgan Edge. Unlike Supergirl Season 3, this rendition of Morgan Edge comes across as a sinister threat and a compelling character with startling secrets. We get the terrific Dylan Walsh playing a new incarnation of General Sam Lane. We have Sophia Hasmick playing the bubbly and determined Chrissy Beppo, a reporter for the Smallville Gazette. We have Emmanuel Crequy playing the iconic Lana Lang, and Eric Valdez as her husband Kyle Cushing, and Indy Navarrete playing their daughter Sarah. All fantastic supported characters, all have issues and all so relatable. It's just perfect casting all round. And episode-wise, there are some real winners here. The pilot is simply amazing. It realises the potential of this show straight away. Man of Steel, Loyal Subjects, Oh Mother, Where Art Thou, Through the Valley of Death, and The Eradicator are amazing episodes that really drive the overall arc towards the epic finale, Last Sons of Krypton. But the two best episodes in all of Season 1 are definitely Holding the Wrench, which is a perfect spotlight on Lois, and sees Elizabeth Tulloch give the performance of her life, and there's a brief reminiscence in between cataclysmic events. The story of Superman has been told to death throughout the decades, but this episode, focusing on Clark's becoming Superman, becoming a reporter for the Daily Planet, falling for Lois, their ultimate marriage, having children together. It's a damn near perfect hour of television, and Tyler Hoechlin likewise gives the performance of his life here. From start to finish, Superman and Lois Season 1 is just simply a masterpiece of television. Absolutely beautiful. Oh yes, and David Ramsey's John Diggle from Arrow also drops by to help out. Bonus points! Admittedly, Superman and Lois doesn't quite reach the epic heights of Arrow and the Flash's first two seasons. After all this time, those Arrowverse seasons still remain the crown jewel. As amazing as this show is, as phenomenal as Season 1 is, Superman and Lois doesn't quite touch the absolute peak of the Arrowverse's greatness, but it's bloody close. And as highly consistent as this first season is, there were a few episodes like Broken Trust and Failsafe that were just tough to get through. I was debating whether or not to put Superman and Lois Season 1 in my top 5 Arrowverse seasons. I was wondering whether or not if it was better than Legends of Tomorrow Season 2. And ultimately I decided, no, Legends of Tomorrow Season 2 is still in my top 5. That was overall better than this. Another issue I have here is that the Arrowverse connection is very loose. Granted, after nearly a decade of these shows, it becomes more and more of a challenge to make sure they're not a burden for new viewers. Newcomers will easily be able to just jump in and watch Superman and Lois without having to watch the other shows. And for loyal Arrowverse fans, There's references to Lex Luthor and James Olsen, Crisis on Infinite Earths, and of course, as I said earlier, Arrow's Diggle stops by. But it all feels very loose, and ultimately, as has been established in Season 2, Superman and Lois doesn't take place on Earth Prime anymore. There was going to be a crossover with Batwoman during its second season, and of course there had been plans for a Superman and Lois crossover with Supergirl down the road. But of course, COVID-19 made crossovers impractical. The other shows either finished or were cancelled, so I can understand why the writers for Superman and Lois ultimately went sod it and placed the show on another Earth altogether. But it is still very disappointing that the show's abandoned its roots when there was so much material to be mined. However, the issues really are minor. Superman and Lois Season 1 is a breath of fresh air. This show doesn't just fly, it soars. It truly is epic stuff and one of the best incarnations of Superman in any media, with the perfect cast and such stellar writing. It truly is up, up and away. Overall rating 9 out of 10. So, what did you all think of Superman and Lois Season 1? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Next time, I will finally be reviewing Supergirl Season 4. Cheers everyone for your support. Take care, stay safe, TTFN.